Can the Chinese chappies have a go?
Oh yeah, of course, we've got the Chinese here.
So this video has been floating around for a couple of days related to this gentleman who plays the piano in a London train station called St Pancras, King's Cross St Pancras. And there was a Chinese television station doing some videoing for the new year, which is on February the 10th this year, 2024. One of them came up and basically said, is it possible you could not use our images? And this gentleman says, well, you're in a public space, we can film anything we want within that public space. This is the law in England. If it's in a private space, then you have to ask permission. If you're in a public space, no. And they just couldn't get this. And then this gentleman, Brendan, said, well, he went on with the Chinese flag, and then one person in that group started to shout at him. I'm sure you've seen the video. If you haven't, go to the description in the link below. Hopefully, if I remember, I will do two links there. One is for a friend of mine called Lewis, who's in England now, used to be in China and Taiwan, who's explained it really well. But what happened afterwards?
This is the end of the conversation. This is our right we're protecting, and that's it.
But what right? I don't understand.
Image right.
Image right?
Yeah, we're not sharing this image right.
Are you from China?
That's not a question. The only thing we are arguing is that we are protecting our own image right. You're not sharing.
But we're in public.
Yeah, exactly. No.
With this, well, after everything died down and after the police came and they used the racist card there, what was the response? Well, there was one lady in that group, I will show you a picture now of her, who has her own social media and put this in Chinese. And you can see some of the subtitles in English. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, but again, if you go to Lewis's channel called Free China, he will translate it as he speaks Chinese there for you. And you can believe him because he's a very intelligent person and he's been in China had been in China for quite a long time. But this is the aftermath of what happened in King's Cross St Pancras, or St Pancras Station in, you could say, in London. I was going to say northern London, but it's more like central London, just on the outskirts of this. So, and then I was searching before I made this video, what did some of the shills, some of the Western people who live in China, hate democracy, and basically, I'm going to use some bad English, they just lick the CCP's arse, and always do the Western media, the collective West, and all this malarkey like this. And here is a small snippet of a South African guy who lives in China for a long time. He's claimed that there's no homeless people in China when his videos sort of like showed homeless people in China on a live stream. So this is the aftermath of what happened.
But he's known for baiting people and you know, triggering people to start arguments because it's entertainment for YouTube, right? So,
and here is a small snippet of the girl who was in this Chinese TV channel making a video for New Year.
最近关于钢琴家引发了一些舆论，没想到有这么样的发酵。作为自媒体的博主，这几天也收到网上不少对我的恶意网暴。我想在我的立场上给大家讲一下当天到底发生了些什么。我和小伙伴们新年纯自愿的帮助国内一家自媒体拍摄新年祝福。
So here's the question. Now I'm going to put a poll, or there is a poll already in the community page of my channel. Who is right and who is wrong? Is it Brendan, the piano player, playing a piano in a train station, entertaining the passengers or the people passing by and having a bit of fun with them? And it's for his YouTube channel. Yeah, he's making money. He's got 2 million subscribers. And why not? It's a living, and it's an honest living, yeah, and entertaining people. And it's free for the people to watch it on YouTube with some advertisements, and for the people passing by on a busy day to work or to go, I don't know, on the Eurostar to Paris, lightens the mood just by him playing the piano. So it's a win-win situation. Even at the very beginning, he said, yeah, come and play the piano, etc., etc., and joined in trying to do international relationships. I have looked through the news in China, like the Global Times and some other ones like Xinhua News. There was absolutely nothing related to it. I have spoken to one person in China in a very diplomatic way. Have you heard about this? And said, sorry, I know nothing about it at all. And I will keep searching for the aftermath of what happened. So there's one YouTuber who has Jerry Good. You see him quite a lot on my channel because basically he just talks complete rubbish sometimes, and so often he gets caught saying when he went to Xinjiang, for example, and you could see his minders there, but he was saying it's my crew, yeah, whatever. So I'm sure there'll be some more that come out of the woodwork, but this is just sort of like the first aftermath that we're seeing. Brendan's not doing anything wrong. He was very polite, and when he touched the Chinese flag, he wasn't touching the girl, but the man accused, don't touch her, basically. Don't touch her. You're too old, or the age difference is there. But he didn't. He touched the Chinese communist flag, and it is the Chinese communist flag. Go to Wikipedia, for example, and it will help you understand it even more than that. So what is your point of view? Have you seen the whole video? Is this the CCP showing their true colors and didn't know that the camera was on a live stream and they thought it was just videoing? So it was all caught live, not just to video like I'm doing, edit it, and then bam, put it out on YouTube a little bit later. So please leave some comments and let's take a break.
Why you're touching her? Stop touching her! Don't touch her, please. Do not touch her.
That near enough brings us to a close of this video for today. And if you do have time, like, share, subscribe. And if you want to donate any money to my beautiful kitty cats, Tokyo and Pickle, do it through Super Thanks or becoming a member or through Patreon. All the links are in the description below. I will wish you a happy day and bye-bye for now. If you are still here, many congratulations. Here are some recommended videos. Here is where you can subscribe. And here you can see some playlists which I have created on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Chinese flag.
Why you're touching her? Stop touching her! Don't touch her, please. Do not touch her. Please, you are not the same age. Please do not touch her. Don't touch her. Please don't touch her. Please.
I don't know if you know, but there is an international crisis happening right now with the UK and the CCP, the Communist Party of China, or the China Communist Party, whatever you like to call it. This is what happened.
We're not allowed.
Yeah, so
We're not allowed?
You're not allowed because we're for Chinese TV.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is sort of like a coffee chat in the way that we may have seen this on YouTube. There's this guy called Brendan. He plays the piano and these public pianos in places like King's Cross or St Pancras, which is in London. It's a train station, entertaining people as they go by their daily life, or passengers going to a different destination in the train station. And fine, minding his own business. This particular time he was doing a live stream, and there were some people who were working for a Chinese controlled television station. Well, all television is controlled by the government in China with that, and they were videoing something for the Chinese New Year. No problem so far, everything's fine. But they came up and said, image rights, we don't want our image on the video. But this was the whole thing. It was a live stream, and English law does dictate that you can video live stream, and you can have people in the pub in the background. You could say that's that is the law. It is allowed. And this is what Brendan, with 2-point-something million viewers on YouTube, is allowed to do. This has escalated so far that Brendan now has been on the Piers Morgan show. Piers Morgan Uncensored, I do believe. Now, you may not like Piers Brosnan, but I'm going to be subjective here to myself, and I really like Piers Brosnan. I liked him when he does the shows about Las Vegas or Monte Carlo or some other places around the world. I liked him on Britain's Got Talent. Maybe he was on Pop Idol or American Idol before, not too sure. He's a really cool guy, and I think he's just straight, direct, and to the point, and he doesn't take any BS from near enough anyone. So he invited Brendan, this pianist, this cool guy, who does this basically for a living, to see what happened, and who is right and who is wrong. Now, with this, I would like to see if there are any Chinese people who actually agree with Brendan, or do they agree with the narrative that these Chinese people did say in London. Now, in China, I do believe there are image rights where people can say, I don't want my video there, or my face there, take it down. But in a public place in the United Kingdom, there isn't. So it escalated so far just after this little confrontation. You could say it's gone to Piers Morgan in the United States of America. It's gone viral, it's gone international. And this is really bad news for the CCP, showing what the narrative is with the Communist Party of China, that they say, no, 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 this is not allowed, for no reason at all. They were carrying these yellow pieces of paper, which they said was a disclaimer, that they can video other people in England, but people cannot video them because it's a surprise for the Chinese New Year celebration on February the 10th. Okay, it's sort of, well, if it's going to be a surprise, then go to St. Pancras train station and say, can we do this early morning, or even when the train station is closed, or in a quiet period, or even close off one area for them to do it. I'm sure through the right channels they can do that. I think it's time for a break. And welcome back. Now, if it went to a black screen, it was a couple of seconds. If there was an advert in there, I hope you just didn't skip it for 4 seconds and watched it. It pays me a little bit of cash, which supports my kitty cats, my 2 lovely cats. I'm sort of going off topic with that. So I would just like to, I know a lot of the people, I've done 2 videos on this so far, maybe, I'm not too sure. And you possibly know the idea of this, and I'm sorry to ramble on so much about it. This is coffee chat, or you can call it rambling, a rant and rave chat, whatever you like to call it. But I would like to hear from more people. Now, I have had on my comments, and you can check it on other videos. Hopefully, I'll put the link in below. And I'll also put in the full video link of Piers Brosnan Uncensored with Brendan there. I'm not too sure where it's recorded. Is it in England? Is it in America? Not too sure with that. But the good news is, the positive thing with this is, you could say, Brendan's break. That now he has, before 2 million viewers and supporters, followers on his channel, he's going to have a lot more. And it's just a thumbs down for the Chinese government to for their brainwashed attitude related to it. They even put in the R word, the racist word, which I sort of talked about before. I am going to put in the link below with the Piers Brosnan interview. Did I mention that already? I don't know. This is coffee chat. This is coffee chat, so we are allowed to. But I'd just like to hear your point of view. And if anyone is in Asia, or if anyone does live in a dictatorship like in Russia, for example, or North Korea, if you can. Oh, look, my coffee's arrived. Woohoo!
It's really hit a nerve. Over 6 million people have now watched this online.
Yeah.
You probably never had a reaction quite like this, have you?
Well, no, and also I've got to tell you, just before I came in, Piers, I've just had a phone call. The video is on the verge of being taken down by YouTube because I've had a second strike against it. So someone does not want this video to be taken.
So I do have some coffee. Today we have Minnie Mouse. This is actually from a shop called Miniso, which is a Japanese Chinese shop, but I just like the coffee. And I like the mug as well, something different. So this has gone national with what people in the East like to call the Western media. And there hasn't been many responses. Now, I have been viewing some of the channels and newspapers related to it, but it's from the Daily Mail, it's from the Washington Post, it's from Entertainment Today. But there's nothing there from the Global Times or the Xinhua News. Nothing at all. You can go and check them out yourself. Even on English-speaking TV stations in China like CGTN, CTGN, whatever it's called, nothing. It's just swept under the carpet. They're not going to push this to the Chinese people. This is what Chinese media does, only the positive, and they won't report news like this, which is sort of like a negative to not only the Chinese government, but to the Chinese people as well, if you understand. I am a big supporter of Brendan, like a billion people are, you could say. And I know what will happen with this is the same as what always happens. Basically, it's going to be, well, give it a couple of weeks, it sort of dies down. But who is going to win out of this, quite simply, it's Brendan. Whether you agree with him or disagree with him, he is going to get more followers. And with more followers, he's going to get more views. With more views, he's going to get more advertising. With more advertising, basically, he's going to get more money. And who inflicted the whole situation? Basically, it were these Chinese people who were working for a Chinese television station in England and saying that we have a disclaimer, a yellow piece of paper. Was this authorized by the British government or the local council or King's Cross St Pancras management? The management side of it, I doubt it very much. They just got it printed, say we have a disclaimer. It doesn't mean anything. I could have a piece of paper and say I am the King of England, for example. Yeah, that's what they done. They haven't got it authorized. Yeah, example. Next year, I sort of need to get my new passport. I need to do a lot of translations, but my translations need to be from an authorized translator. It can't be someone just on the street, for example. It's got which the British government will recognize, so to speak. So I'm looking into that. Last time I did my passport here, that's another story. So what I'm saying is, like, please do comment with this. Please give me your point of view, the honest one. If you dislike Brendan, it's okay. If you like Brendan, it's okay. What do you think of these Chinese people? Do you think they are right? It's okay. Give it a thumbs up. If you don't think these Chinese people are, give it a thumbs down. Now, I have done a survey with this. Now, maybe it's a little bit biased in the way that most of my audience do come from the United States of America, like 60%, and the others are Canada, United Kingdom, and here Cambodia, and some other countries as well, like the Philippines, etc. YouTube in China is actually blocked. I don't think it's banned, but it's actually blocked. But many people do have a VPN, which is actually illegal, and with that they can watch YouTube, and if they choose to, for some unknown reason, they can watch CNN. So I think that's enough for my rant and rave. It's just a short video today, and I just like giving my support to Brendan because he looks like a really cool guy, yeah, with the sunglasses, the hairstyle, everything. Just entertaining. He's an entertainer and doing something unique on YouTube, which people watch because it's enjoyable. Yeah? Maybe over their morning cup of coffee. And talking about coffee, let's have another sip with that. And just to be stunned with this, Now, there are some YouTubers in China, Westerners who are in China, and say, this guy always goes looking for trouble. Really? I really can't see this in any way, shape or form. That he's just playing the piano, he interacts with some of the audience or the people watching by, he'll get them to dance or maybe sing or try to play the piano. It's always a positive. And I think we need more of that in the world, just normal people. And you could go on in the way that the West would say that Palestine is bad. Yeah, or Hamas is bad. But there's quite a few people on YouTube and other social media outlets would say that Israel is bad. Yeah, but who started the whole conflict in October the 7th? I don't know. Oh, it was Hamas. Hamas used to be a terrorist organization, but now they're put into government. So I don't really look in the past, but you would see a lot of these anti-West or anti-Western government kind of schemes. They would always go into the past and say, well, look at Russia and Ukraine. Yeah, this started in 2014. So why did Russia pop into Ukraine on that certain date in February 2022? I do believe it was. It's getting close to like 2 years old. And they would say that Russia is winning the war, for example. But if you look at the line, whatever map you look at, the Russian one or the Ukrainian one of the timeline, and it will show you a live map of what's happening, there is basically a stalemate. But they will say it's not, and Russia is winning. There is a guy on YouTube called Dennis. He used to be, I don't know now, but he's a Ukrainian pilot. And he would show you the maps and giving you the good things and the bad things. So if Ukraine actually loses ground, he would say that. He would say, unfortunately, because he's Ukrainian, he would be exactly the same. I sort of have this argument as well. And again, I've mentioned this. If Canada invaded America, just then, would America sit down and go, oh, it's okay, yeah, don't worry about it? Of course not. They would retaliate. It's normal. If someone came into your home and just came into your home and say, give me all your money, if you had a gun, you would try and get that gun and protect yourself in that way. Does that make sense? So with all these things happening in the world, people would say, oh, it's propaganda from the West, or this is propaganda from the East. We just got to look at the facts. How I get information, I do look at mainstream media. Yeah, that's okay. I will try to look at the East and the West. But what I really like to see is feeds from Twitter, from real people with their camera on their phone, and this is what happened. And this is how news used to be like, that it was very objective. Now it seems to be very subjective. Am I being subjective to Brendan? Yeah, absolutely. Am I glad this has gone international and now is on American TV with Piers Morgan Uncensored? Yeah, I am. Because the unfortunate thing happened to Brendan, but in the long run, he's going to get more subscribers. And again, I repeat, more money. I think it's time for a quick coffee. Welcome back. It would be really nice to see if Chinese media actually does respond to this, to say that Brendan is wrong and the people behind him is right. We need all the information, but the evidence does actually point to the Chinese people are wrong here and looked after by the Chinese TV network, and with that, it will just sort of like be swept away. And I think Brendan does want this. Let's have his 5 minutes of fame or his 15 minutes of fame, hit it, benefit from it, get a bad situation into a good situation, and then move on from there, go back to Elton John's piano in St. Pancras or any other public piano and continue playing the piano for the enjoyment of people, doing live streams on YouTube or whatever, and making money from it with something you enjoy. I think when you work, you should enjoy. If you don't enjoy, it's just about money. And for me, no. Yeah, I'm very lucky that I managed to retire when I was 44 years old. Really lucky with that. And I don't have $1 billion, but I have enough money until I pass away comfortably. Living in Asia, well, I've been here 30 years. The cost of living is a lot more. I can live very comfortably for about $2,000. YouTube for me, as I said a million times before, is sort of like a hobby, and it's great to have a platform where you can express your point of view. You're not going to get 100% who agree with you, but if you get like 90% who do, then I think that's okay. Some videos, I've had people who disagree and it's gone down to 60%. And then you think about, well, shall I keep it or shall I delete it? Well, I put my point of view on, and if I delete it, it may show a sign of weakness, etc., etc. Let's leave it there for today. I rambled on too much. I've actually got quite a busy day today of watching TV, doing some exercise, maybe having a journey on my motorbike, etc., going shopping, maybe something nice to eat for lunch and dinner. Oh, such a busy day. I will love you and leave you, and please do like, subscribe and share. And if you want to, if anyone's got to the end, now is the time to hit super thanks, and you can support my channel financially, and that money goes to the Kitty Cat Foundation of Tokyo and Pickle for their food, and that actually really does help in a year-to-year basis. God bless to all. Have an excellent day wherever you are in the world. If it's morning, your cup of coffee. If it's evening, with your cup of tea and your burger and French fries, or something a bit more exotic like, I don't know, lasagna or beef stroganoff, or some food, Mongolian barbecue, for example. Now I really am rambling, so let's leave it. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.
You can't touch this.
I think most people will know MC Hammer from the 1980s, the late 1980s, when he sung a song called You Can't Touch This and did the kind of dance that moved like that.
Fresh new kicks and bands, you got it like that. Now you know you want to dance, so move out of your seat and get a fight.
And if you have been watching my channel, you have seen Brendan, I've forgotten his last name, with a piano player, a boogie-woogie piano player, who had a confrontation with people who were working for a Chinese state media television channel. And one of them decided to shout at him, saying, "Don't touch her."
Why you're touching her? Stop touching her! Don't touch her! Please, do not touch her. Please, you are not the same age. Please do not touch her. Don't touch her. Please don't touch her. Please.
So I thought it would be a little bit fun to mix the two together. Now, this is not the perfect mash, but I thought it was quite witty with MC Hammer with You Can't Touch Her, but we renamed the song from MC, and he said, Can't Touch This, and we named it into You Can't Touch Her, Don't Touch Her, for example. And this is a 30-second mash.
Yo, I told you.
Stop touching her!
Why you standing there, man?
Stop touching her!
You can't touch this.
So just making a little bit of fun over a international crisis. But some of my comments that I have had are related to this situation in St Pancras in London do come from, you could say, Chinese nationalists, people who love the CCP. One is from Jazz I522 with 41 subscribers. You should shut it. Well, thank you very much. And what else do I have? I got one more here. There's quite a few, but I just wanted to show you two of them just to show the response from the other side. Yeah. Every story has two sides. Maybe people will agree, people who won't agree, people who think they are obliged to say something. You could say, basically like me, I'm going with Brendan. Some people will disagree with me. That's okay. It's a democracy. And you have the freedom of speech with it, so there can be. So one is another one from Jackson Wong 90 UBS, biased double standard hypocrisy. One country, two systems. None of your business. Stop interfering with China international affairs. Well, we've seen in Hong Kong one country, two system doesn't really work. And if we do the history of this, Mr. or Mrs. Jackson, then we know in 1984 in Hong Kong, it was agreed by the General Secretary of China and the Prime Minister of England that one country, two systems, for 50 years, Hong Kong will not be touched. But your lovely leader, Xi Jinping, lovely is English sarcasm for being awful, and basically just not agreeing with the actual policy that was signed in 1984. Just don't care. The South China Sea Islands, the international court says, no, you can't. China says, don't care. And China does get away with this because you can see they get away with it because they don't care and they still continue to do something. Then the international community does nothing about it. Then they start to do all these weird claims that the South China Sea all that area belongs to China because of history. You have to be updated with this. And the South China Sea belongs to Vietnam, it belongs to Brunei, it belongs to Malaysia, it belongs to the Philippines, and you would even say it belongs to the country of Taiwan. So this is me speaking with freedom. In China, like in many countries, like Thailand, for example, you can't say anything bad about the political party. You will be put in prison. You'll be put in the nick. In Thailand, you can't say anything bad against the royal family. It will be done the same. In some places, it's illegal. So you don't exactly have the freedom of speech in that scenario. In the United States, if you think Joe Biden is a useless president, you can say it openly. That is freedom of speech related to it. And that, you would say, in some aspects, is a democracy, that you allow to point your point of view. I believe in that, but there's no need to shout, swear, use foul words, for example, related to it. But that's how I was brought up. And I have been in Southeast Asia. I've been living in Asia, yes, in China. It was great fun in 94 and 95. It was developing. There were restrictions. I did buy the Lonely Planet book, which I did explain before. And basically it says, don't say anything. Don't talk to Chinese people about Mao. Don't have a Chinese girlfriend, or if you do, don't show that you are a girlfriend because you will be deported. And I did have a friend in Chongqing in 1994 who did get deported because he had a Chinese girlfriend. And possibly, which made it worse, is that this guy was an African American. Now, something a little bit sensitive here, and let's say your daughter in China went to Africa, came back and said, Mum and Dad, this is my boyfriend, I really love him, I want to marry him, but he's colored. Yeah? They will just go, oh my God, no, 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 no. Why? Because of face value, and they would think of their neighbors. Now, this is the strange thing, and this is how different countries are. My eldest auntie, she did go to Africa in the late 1950s, early 1960s. She did marry an African guy, a colored guy, a black guy. And my grandfather, very traditional, accepted it. Fine, if you love him, that's fine. Unfortunately, he died. And then my auntie actually married another African guy. He died. And then she married a white guy. His name was Jack. I can't remember her other two husbands. He was Scottish. He's a Caucasian guy. So their family is free. Can I say half caste nowadays? I don't know. But it's accepted. More so. China is a little bit old-fashioned. So when they say the R word to someone who's very open-minded, very kind, just a good English gentleman, but go and look at your own country, and would you allow your daughter to marry someone from Africa? It would sort of be, and that they would say mostly is no, because of the color of that person from Africa. Now, is that the R word? I would say yes. So before you accuse people of being the R word, I think you know what I mean with that, is look at your own country and look at China. So for the haters of this channel, welcome to the channel. And if you are going to reply, please do it with constructive criticism, not you should shut it, or I am your BS. Now, occasionally I do that, but this is my channel, this is what I created, and this is the freedom of speech which I'm doing. When I see something so innocent, a guy playing the piano in St Pancras in London, King's Cross, St Pancras, entertaining people who are going by, making money and doing really well on YouTube with 2 million subscribers just by filming the the boogie woogie. And then some people say, you stop playing because we're doing a film. We have a disclaimer or disclosure, whatever it is, the yellow piece of paper that they had. But this is from the film company. It's not from King's Cross St Pancras. It's not from the management. And as I said before, if they wanted to film there in a public space, they should inform, say, we want this, so they can cordon off the area with that. But they should accept that in England, the United Kingdom, in a public place, people can video you, even though it's sort of like a surprise for New Year, then you have to do it when there's less people there. And they were very happy to film other people, but they weren't happy to be filmed. One country, two systems. God bless to all. Like, subscribe, and if you want to donate the fund to my kitty cats, that's Tokyo and Pickle, the super thanks is in a link in the description below. Have a awesome day. Be good, be well, be happy, be safe, and live the freedom of speech. It makes us human. Don't live in an area where you can't and you just get frustrated, unless you're happy and unless you like that. And everyone is an individual, so it's your choice. Unfortunately, some people don't have any choice. This is the country you're born in, and you can't move from that. Yeah, I've been very lucky. I left the UK when I was 20 years old, near enough, 20 years old after I graduated from university. And some people can't. And you do have to respect the laws of the land. Now, in China, I would say a lot of people are happy. I don't believe it's the happiest country in the world. I do have many friends in Shanghai and Hong Kong, and we would speak on Telegram, which is a encrypted network, so we can actually be very open. I've had doctors from Beijing during the COVID crisis telling me what it's really like, or when there is a parade in Beijing related to all the army and things, but they're not allowed on the roof because they may get with a sniper, because they may think it's a spy, whatever like that. This is China, and this is not from the news, this is not from Global Times, this is not from politicians, these are real people living in China and just telling me the actual how it really is, the good things and the bad things. And this is what news should be. It should be objective, saying everything. There's always two sides to the story. I will try to listen to both sides, and you can agree or disagree, because you are individual and you have that freedom to do so, not to be quiet about it. But will the Communist Party in China, disperse, and will it be a democracy? I don't know. I can't see it in the near future. I think what will happen is that Xi will be president for maybe another 4 or 8 years. Then he's going to get a little bit old, and I don't think he'll be voted in, because someone else will come in who's brighter, smarter, more efficient, more has a better camera appearance than Winnie the Pooh Bear, she, in that form. I am rabbiting on now, and I'm going to leave it there for today. God bless you all. Again, thank you very much. I was watching the China show today, this morning, my time. It was evening time in the United States of America, with Serpent ZA and also his business partner C-Milk, or Laowai86. And I did like their title, Pianogate. Now, if you haven't been following the news or my channel, please do subscribe and do check out some of the videos at the end of this show, which I will be advertising for you. Then you can understand more about this. Brendan, a pianist who plays in King's Cross St Pancras train station to entertain the passers-by, had a little bit of a conflict with some Chinese people who were working for or had a commission or a contract to do some videoing for the Chinese New Year, and they just didn't like what was happening and image rights, etc., etc. Now, I'm sure you know the story, and there have been lots of comments and reviews of how good Brendan is, and I would be one of them saying, yeah, everything is fine. They are just being caused upset. Officially from China, there has been nothing there, but it has reached China on their social media called Weibo. And what I've done is pulled out some of the comments. Now, this is all translated into English via Chinese, through Google Translate, which is not the best in the world, but it's there for you. Let's read some of them right now. So the first one reads like this from Weibo. Well-known British pianist Brendan, isn't this white trash? First racial discrimination, then provoking trouble, and finally preventing to be victimized. Just act rogue, act arrogant, and cheap, and go through the whole process. And then you can take these pictures at will in public places. I was told clearly this was not allowed, and so it's mean. Is that good or bad? Please comment below with that one. And again, this is on Chinese social media, Weibo. It's a little bit like Twitter, which is now called X, with that. And I would say that most people would disagree with most of the comments coming here, but I think it should be shown. Now, there is a gentleman on YouTube, and I've forgotten his name, and on other social media like WeChat, which is the big social media in China. It's a little bit like Facebook, where they actually do support Brendan, but there are some of the nationalists and would only take one side of the argument. Here is another one for you. Pianist Brendan, live broadcast the piano playing incident at King's Station in London. The Chinese involved explain the whole story. They were there to shoot a Spring Festival greetings for a company. The company being the CCTV television, state television. They waited by the piano for more than 40 days. Wow, 40 days they waited by the piano to use the piano for filming. The minute pianist just left. Due to confidentiality with the company, the Spring Festival greetings cannot be released to the public. Well, they were filming basically in a public place. Now, whether they asked the King's Cross St Pancras management whether they can film, and if they did, it should have been in a quieter time or in a private space, and if they did, they could have actually blocked off that area so they could have their filming. But they are in a public space, and other people were filming them as they went by, just to wish Happy New Year on the Chinese Gala TV's performance, which is a TV show on New Year's Eve, the Chinese New Year, to build up. People have it on, but it's not the best TV show in the world. And a lot of the singing is not live. What else did this person say? They didn't know he was live streaming for profit. Well, he's a YouTuber. We go on YouTube to make money, obviously. And even before the live broadcast, he filmed everyone video of people during which they had told they were Chinese. Okay. Another comment goes like this: even though he knew they were Chinese, he keeps insisting that they were Japanese, perhaps to piss them off because of their content. Here I disagree. Now, my girlfriend or partner is Cambodian. She looks very much like Thai. She looks very much like Filipino. It's easy to mistake. It's easy to mistake. I've been to Japan so many times, and I would say sort of like konnichiwa or anything to say hello to new people, but they have been Chinese. There's no offense taken, and vice versa. What else is there? They say he played a discriminatively song at piano. Don't know about that one. I think they're just pulling at strings for this. They decided politely ask how long it would be before they could use the piano. After realizing he is a content creator, she asked him if she could delete the video in case he published their content online without their permission. Again, they're in a public place. Now, they can ask, but what the lady did says you're not allowed. And English law dictates you can. So this girl was dictating Chinese law in England, which is weird. But also in China, people go along with a video camera and they don't blur out their faces, even though the Chinese law does actually state about image rights, etc., etc. But in England, in public places, you don't have it. So that is wrong. They discovered that he was a blogger with more than 2 million followers on YouTube. So according to the police, said he was probably not allowed to play the piano there without a license because he's making money from it. So if I go along the street with my video camera, which I have done, and people watch it and there's advertisements, I'm making money from it. He's in a public place playing the piano, a public piano that anyone can play, donated by Elton John to the public or to King's Cross St Pancras. It's the combined station of two there. So that doesn't really make sense. We continue. The political characterization of the British piano incident is a low-end political hype incident in which anti-communist righteous people promoted communist sharing of wives. Oh, this is a new one. Kavanagh, who was talking about the piano, was obviously deliberately trying to anger those British light reds or red lights, don't know. Then he received various obnoxious, bizarre messages from various anti-communist righteousness. This is a really bad translation. Including that a bit radical fool who also had a gun on his body and a female bodyguard and was about to shoot, etc. The more ridiculous the information became, the more bizarre it became. There we go. These are not the full text, these are just a short text. So there was an incident in that bit where they said they were going to shoot you or something, but I think it was just a mispronunciation of shout. Yeah. And did he have a gun on them? Don't know. Was he the Chinese James Bond? Don't know. Today, this boogie-woogie pianist is very popular in the circle of friends. After watching the video, I feel that these people are really no match for him. I just saw a report of the British media that the piano donated by Elton John was surrounded unguarded. Dr. K, who studied literature, is quite unique. After working in middle school teacher for a few years, he quit his job to pursue his own music. Just like him in the video, he was unyielding and even wrote a scolding book after he left. So that's sort of like a positive thing. And if you do go into WeChat, for example, if you can get into WeChat, because you got to have a invite from a Chinese person, you will see a lot more there. I got a couple more to go. On January the 19th, a well-known British pianist, Brendan, broadcast live in the London train station. Several Chinese holding national flags appeared. The national flag is the Chinese Communist flag, but here we're saying national flags. The other party asked Kavanagh to delete the scene in which there was in the scene, claiming it violated his portrait rights. Controversy aroused between the two parties. Kavanagh halted and Kavanagh sparked a heated discussion after sharing a pleasant experience, etc., etc., etc. Again, these is from Chinese social media, but no word from any media like Global Times or the Xinhua News or China Daily, which are the newspapers in China. And the final one I got here is regarding London's piano incidents. I am really speechless after reading the comments on Weibo. There are too many people who have been racially discriminated against for helping foreigners lick them clean. Lao Chang called everyone Japanese at the beginning and later asked the girls to dance as like they were dancers. Others refused and laughed at the fact. The British girls are still interesting. Furthermore, 1 month is a communist and 1 month is freedom of speech. Brendan is no different from other internet celebrities. He has a YouTube traffic password. Again, these are translations and I don't understand it. So there are some, if you read in between the lines, that it's fine. And these people do admit in a sort of indirect way that he was right. And we all know it's just blinkingly obvious that he was. And this was the CCP, this was the nationalists in China, caught with their pants down. When you are in entertainment, doesn't matter where you are in the world, if you are going to film in a public place, regardless of rights, you would ask permission from the train station, for example. Yeah. Then you would ask if you could have a sealed area so the public can't walk, straight through your area. If you wanted to use one of the utilities, you would have asked and then you would have blocked it off. That's pretty normal in any kind of like TV or filmmaking. Now, I used to be in the entertainment profession, and yeah, that's exactly what they did. The Chinese state media that were there, or the people who were doing the flag waving for the Chinese state media, obviously didn't do that. And they just expected to be able to straight away because they had the TV cameras, etc., etc. Well, they had mobile phones with the gimbal on the bottom of it. Nothing very spectacular. And Brendan sort of just came there and did his usual kind of gig. They could have come to him and actually asked politely, yeah, and say, how long are you going to be? But they weren't waiting for 40 days or 40 hours, maybe 40 minutes. But it's first come, first served. And I would guess that Brendan was there first. So it's his right. And then when he's finished playing, regardless if he's on YouTube making money or just doing it for fun, and it's just sort of like he enjoys playing there. So when Brendan has been on TV shows, possibly the top one he's been on is on Piers Morgan, people are going to listen. And this is a kick in the face, or the pants down, with the Chinese state media there, because, well, we can sort of accept the first one, that the girl's English was not the best in the world, and she said, no, you're not allowed to. But it was the actual guy there who was sort of, people accused him of having a gun in his pocket, and that's what he would shoot you, which obviously would be totally illegal in a country where people are not really allowed to carry guns. I'm sure there are some exceptions to the rule, but the everyday citizen is not going to carry a gun in the UK. So, your thoughts, your points of view. There are some in between the lines, some good things there, but it's mostly sort of like the Chinese CCP narrative, state media, nationalists, just going in and having a dig at poor old Brendan there. It was just so innocent, and you would say just through that he is a nice guy. I'm going to leave it there for today, and hopefully this is the end of it. I do hope that Brendan continues to play the piano in King's Cross and entertaining people and making money on YouTube. Why not? It's a great living. If you can do something good as that and people follow you and you make money from it, then hey, you've got the perfect job. And we would all like to have that perfect job. We don't just want to go to work because of money and 9 to 5. But that's the unfortunate case in some ways, that's how it is in the real world. I will see you a little bit later. I will wish everyone a happy, what's the day? Saturday today. I'm recording this on the 27th of January. And if you do like, thumbs up. If you do want to share it, please do on your social media. If you want to leave a comment, please do. As long as it's constructive and as long as there's no foul words, then it will get into the comment form. Otherwise, my keywords on that will block it. And I do look at these occasionally once in a blue moon. That's it. Oh yeah, and if you want to support my kitty cats, then you just click the link below if you got this far in the video. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.